Hey, welcome to Travillian Next. My name is Amber Buker. I'm your host, and I'm super excited to be on location today with my friend Corey LeBlanc. Corey is with Locality Bank, and he just got off the stage here at the S&P conference, Community Bank Conference in Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Corey.
Hey, Amber.
How's it going?
It's doing awesome. It's great to see you, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
I miss hanging out with you.
We're going to do more of it next week.
I hope so,
At the
yeah.
Alloy Labs event, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, I want to ask you, where are you in your spring conference season?
So it's interesting. So starting the year, well, at least for the past couple of years, I've been a little hesitant to come out to a lot of the events because I just want to put my head down and work, right? But what I've realized is I started missing out on a lot of the conversations that I used to have with people like you. And so trying to put a good effort out into getting into the space and attending some of these and participating as much as I can. I would say I'm about 50% through. It seems like every other week I'm traveling for something at this point. So we have Alloy Labs Alliance annual conferences coming up. We have some Florida Bankers Association annual conference stuff coming up. And then we're obviously always talking to a number of the other events to see what talking sessions and stuff they have available.
Well, everyone loves hearing your perspectives. I can tell from the room.
Appreciate it.
You were the banker, the quintessential banker on the panel,
right.
Always representing the banks, which you love. I'm curious, your panel was really wide ranging. You guys talked about a lot. You talked about branches, you talked about succession planning, you talked about AI. What is the thing as you're traveling around the country that the industry is not talking about enough?
I think it's ownership. Ownership, because like we're talking about all this technological advantage that we should be getting from AI and some of these other modern capabilities that we're trying to drive. But most of the banks asking the questions or having this conversation don't have ownership of the infrastructure or some of the systems or data required to really drive these things forward. And so what I'm hearing a lot of bank CEOs when I get off the stage or when we're sitting in the roundtable discussions, they're asking me like, who do I need to partner with? How do I need to work with this? But when you look at that as a whole, the economics don't really work for, right? Because they're having to pay these premium prices to get these software subscriptions with these partners to go do something that they should be able to do for themselves. But we haven't orchestrated that way. We've been partnering by contract as opposed to trying to figure out how do we work with other banks and other industry members to build things collectively together where we share ownership. And so I really believe both from an infrastructure level, the bank, but also from an infrastructure level as an industry, banks need to look at having more ownership into that.
I love that, and I agree that's something that we're not talking about enough. We do talk about data, and we talk about tech partnerships, and we talk about all the vendors, but we don't talk about the fact that we really probably shouldn't be relying on those as heavily as we have to.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? Because when we talk about data and we talk about the partnerships, well, who owns the data? We all agree the bank owns the data, but we can't get it out.
Yeah.
And so if you can't get it out, do you own it? And so then it was, well, what do we do with that? And so just across the board, I think whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's payments, whether it's anything, I think it's getting better understanding of data governance. It's getting ownership to the network rails and being a participant at the tables that start to even just create some of the policies and standards that are going to drive these things, because a lot's going to change over the next, everyone says 3 to 5 years. I don't think we should say that anymore. I think it should be like in the next year to year and a half, because that's kind of how fast this stuff's moving now. Those are the things I think that are going to matter if we're really thinking about it.
Those are the timetables that I see too.
Yeah.
It's much quicker than I think a lot of folks realize. And I was really shocked. There was a stat earlier in the conference that showed that something like 40% of banks aren't even thinking about stablecoin, for example.
Right.
So that was a little shocking to me with all the advocacy that's going on. That's not even on the.
Well, because you get the thing, well, our customers are not asking for stablecoin.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is your customers are asking you for stablecoin. They're just not asking you in the way of I want stablecoin. They're just taking their transactions or their money and they're moving it somewhere else to do what they need to do. But I just think it's silly when we say our customers aren't asking for this, or I don't know that I'm as interested in these things, when the truth is you fast forward this thing to 3 to 5 years. If we do look at the old bank way of thinking about this, I think they're going to start to see more of the business that they've lost that they can't get back because they didn't have these conversations today.
Yeah. Well, you are thinking ahead, having these conversations. Locality is. And I know you just announced something special called Locality Ventures that we're going to see later this summer, hopefully.
Absolutely.
You can't tell us about it.
No, sorry.
We won't ask you to tell us about it, but I will ask you why, what about this moment in time makes it the moment to launch this new project?
Again, it comes down to ownership, right? And so as we were looking at what we wanted to do with Locality Bank, and it was to create a blueprint for how do community banks and regional banks survive in a modern world? How do we compete against the fintechs that are now getting charters at rocket speed? How do we sit there and really start to look at how do we leverage the technology that we say we're supposed to invest in? And what we believe is there's an advantage of having kind of an arm that allows us to do that. So Locality Ventures is going to be part of our bank holding company. It's going to serve as a software development company, and it's going to feed back into the bank. And that's as much as I can say right now. But our premise is to not only put rocket fuel in Locality Bank, but also put rocket fuel in all the other community banks that just aren't going to quite be able to do what we can do right now.
Let's work together. Let's do it quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. You heard it here first. Thank you so much for joining Travillian Next, Corey.
Thank you.
Co-founder of Locality Bank.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Amber.